What is it about people like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs that really allows their companies to outperform their competitors? There's three specific things and I'm going to go through those in this video. If you're building an online business or selling on Amazon, then make sure to hit subscribe.
So basically, it has nothing to do with being some Superman that you work hard and long, and it might actually be the opposite, that you work less than others. But just because of your mindset, you can see what other people are not seeing and be prepared when other people are not prepared, and really succeed when others are not succeeding. So it's really about having some specific principles in your life. And Jim Collins has really he's this American business researcher, and he has really written a lot of bunch of books on this topic. And he's been researching companies for decades, and really he has this book Great by Choice, where he takes a look at different companies in different kind of situations and really analyzes that, okay, what is it more successful than their competitors? So why some companies achieve such spectacular results, especially when other direct comparison companies, like companies operating in the same fast-moving, unpredictable, and tumultuous environments did not? So the answer partly lies in the distinctive behaviors of these leaders. The leaders are not more creative, they are not more visionary, they are not more charismatic, more ambitious, and they are not more blessed by luck. And they are not more risk-seeking, heroic, or prone to making big, bold. So the leaders actually possess these three specific things. So fanatic discipline, empirical creativity, and productive paranoia. So this is really what he considers as being the kind of the baseline and the foundation for the way these leaders actually behave. So what does these things mean? So first of all, fanatic discipline. So it's not just being disciplined, but really being fanatic about it. And what is self-discipline? It means having the inner will to do whatever it takes to create a great outcome. No matter how difficult the situation is. So it means consistency of action, consistency with values. People have different values, companies also have values. It means being really consistent with those, not changing those all the time. And also, when you make business decisions, then, or for example, partnerships and all that kind of stuff, then it's being following your values that you have defined. And consistency with long-term goals, consistency with performance standards, consistency of method, consistency over time. So one thing that keeps repeating here is consistency. Consistency brings results. That's kind of obvious things, because if you just keep at it for longer periods of time, you're eventually going to be successful. Then it's just only a matter of time, as long as you're basically doing the right things, meaning that you're following a specific success plan and so on. Because as entrepreneurs, you're always given different kind of opportunities. You see different kind of opportunities that you basically tap on. But the key is also that you need to be able to say no to most of the things, and you really need to avoid this shiny object syndrome. Then empirical creativity. So what does it mean? So they don't favor analysis over action. They favor empiricism as the foundation for this decisive action. Okay, it sounds nice, but what does it actually mean? So it means that they are not looking to conventional wisdom. They are not primarily looking what other people do, and they are not listening experts saying that what they should do. Of course, it's good to listen different kinds of opinions about your situation and so on. But I mean, you should not rely only on those things, and because oftentimes you actually get like bad advice and advice that is not actually going to help you. So, but instead they are looking for empirical evidence, direct observation, so conducting these practical experiments. So what makes Amazon really one of the biggest companies in the world? It's actually one of the reasons is that because they have this culture of experimentation. So Amazon's teams are basically assessed based on how many experiments they do. And if it's good to think that, okay, in what business Amazon is. So because basically, first of all, they are in the e-commerce business. They are now they are in the like groceries business, delivery business. They are on like software development business. They have a game studio. They have a film studio, and they have all these different kind of businesses. And that's only a result of because they have been just like boldly and crazily running all these kind of experiments and seeing that, okay, I mean, let's try it out and see how it goes. And naturally, it means that Amazon has had like tons of failures, and it's kind of part of the culture there in many of the teams that, I mean, if you're not failing enough, then I mean you are simply not trying enough. So that's one way that people are assessed on Amazon. Because when you're running experiments, then you can actually be a data-driven leader. You cannot be a data-driven leader if you do not run any kind of experiments at all. So these leaders, I mean, they did not generally make bolder moves than their less successful companies. I mean, both groups made big bets. I mean, the comparison groups, because this is based on research on different kind of companies. And when needed, they took dramatic action. Nor did they exude more raw confidence than their comparison leaders. I mean, indeed, the comparison leaders were often brazenly self-confident. So, I mean, self-confidence wasn't that the key thing here. But the thing they had was a much deeper empirical foundation for their decisions and actions, which gave them this well-founded confidence and bounded their risk. And another point is that you actually need to fire bullets, not cannonballs. And really good example from this is, I mean, Apple's first retail store. And the way Apple did it is that, I mean, first they launched this kind of pilot store in the US. I mean, they didn't go all in immediately. And Steve Jobs actually said about this once they opened their first store that, oh God, we are screwed. And that's actually a direct quote. That's what he said. But since, I mean, and if Apple had gone like all in, it would have been a disaster because, I mean, Apple failed miserably, but I mean, as they just run it as kind of like these experiments, firing these bullets before cannonballs. I mean, it was just a case of that, okay, let's just fix all the issues we have before we, launch the next store. And similar thing was with actually the iPod. I mean, Apple didn't go all in with when they launched the iPod. No, they actually did it like as a small like pilot program. So bullets mean that it's a low cost, low risk, low distraction test experiment. So bullets recalibrate, and then you find a bunch of bullets again. So after you have done this, after you have run like calibrated cannonballs, which means that you have this confirmation based on empirical validation. Like with Apple's retail stores, they realized that, okay, now we got it right. Now then it's time to actually launch these, shoot these cannonballs. Then productive paranoia. So they differ from their less successful comparisons in how they maintain this hyper vigilance in good times as well as bad. So even in calm, clear, positive conditions, they constantly consider the possibility that events could turn against them at any moment. So it means that they remain cautious of what the world will throw at them. So they prepare to meet head on what they most fear. So paranoid behavior is good if it's channeled into this preparation and calm, clear-headed action. So this is what Jim Collins means with the term productive paranoia. So it basically means asking a bunch of what-if questions. So what if one day there is a global pandemic that takes down the whole world economy? What if that happens, then what are you going to do? And Bill Gates was known for writing these kind of like nightmare memos, and this is basically an internal memo that got leaked out, and he's saying there that, oh my, this is written in 91, that our nightmare is becoming a reality. So IBM is attacking us in system software, Novell defeating us in networking and more agile customer-oriented applications, competitors getting their Windows act together. It's basically Microsoft's nightmare is becoming a reality. And you can imagine the press reaction to this and the stock market's reaction when it actually got leaked out. But I mean, Bill Gates was all the time like thinking about this worst case scenario. And I mean, he's not alone in this. I mean, Risto Siilasmaa, who was the former chairman of the board for Nokia, I mean, he wrote a book about paranoid optimism. So, and Intel CEO Andy Grove also has this book, Only the Paranoid Survive, which basically means like you're asking a bunch of like what if questions all the time. But I mean, a bit of a word of warning here that if you constantly just keep like talking about worst case scenarios and constantly asking like what if questions from your business partner and other partners and employees, I mean, if they don't know why you are doing this, then it's kind of you're going to be seen as this doomsday prophet. And for example, I mean, I realized that I was doing this all the time in when we started business, and it was nothing about being negative or anything like this. It was just about that, okay, you are basically well, it's just productive paranoia. You're all the time like thinking different kind of scenarios. But anyway, I mean, when I was doing this, like I hadn't like explained it or anything like this. So Victor sometimes got like fed up with like, why are you always so like fixated on worst case scenarios, and why are you always so negative? So it's really super important that you actually not only do it, but I mean teach this to your business partner, employees, and anyone you work with. And really important point is that, I mean, paranoid, I mean, it's only good if it's channeled into this preparation and really this calm, clear-headed action. So that's what it means, like having this productive paranoia. So it's basically just a question that you are just prepared. Anyone paranoid yet?
Yeah, I can just add to this that it basically means that you always prepared kind of like different scenarios, right? You don't put all the eggs in one basket, and you're trying to be prepared to different scenarios and not getting overwhelmed by paranoia, but just being prepared, right?
Yeah. And you can find this from the 11X program in model number 6.
Building a business and selling on Amazon can be challenging, but it doesn't have to be a struggle. I can actually help you on this path, so just make sure to click the link and sign up.